Ladies and gentlemen, this is an edutainment podcast. Manhood Forever! Welcome to Manhood Forever TV. I'm your host, Hopper the Swaddle JC. If you don't like white people, if you don't like black people, if you don't like men or have a dislike for women, if you don't like people because of their race, ethnicity, or religion, if you don't like people because of the color of their skin, then this is not the place for you. Sayonara.
He's a hell of a man, that's why he's in demand. If you're looking for help, he'll be your Superman. If your faucet is leaking, he'll be your handyman. He's doing all that he can to be a better man, 'cause he's a man. Yes, he's a man first. He's a grown man.
I have with me today a friend of mine. We're going to discuss two topics, that is racism and how important is your peace. Joining me today is Chuck. What's up, Chuck? How you doing?
Hello, my brother. Always good to see you, man.
Always good to see you as well. So listen, man, I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to jump right into it. Let me ask you a question. Do you think racism exists?
Yes, it does.
Racism definitely exists.
There's a lot of people that try to say it does not, but it does. It shines its head, you know.
It definitely rears its ugly head. But every situation is not a racist or requires or warrants someone saying that you're racist.
Yes, very true. Right.
If anyone says that racism doesn't exist,
the few people, and let me be specific, people of color that have said that racism doesn't exist have never lived in an environment where they had to experience it, and that's a very small population of people that I've met. Right?
You said black people?
Yeah, black people.
You've heard black people say they don't exist. Okay. Yeah. I have to.
I have some Caucasian and white friends that I have out there that I'm really good friends with. I have a lot of love and respect for them, and I have spoken to them, and some of them have shared views and said, "Oh, racism doesn't exist." It's like I've never experienced that, and I've had some intense dialogue with a few people and gave them examples of personally how racism have dealt with it and experienced it, and they were like dumbfounded, like, really?
Right.
You know, I'm like, wow. So there are some people out there, and when I say this to a few people I've had this level of conversations with, no, everybody knows racism exists. No, they don't.
Oh, no. There are some, I think they're delusional.
Yes.
But there are some for sure that would, black and white, are there, say maybe more white than black, would say that racism doesn't exist today. But that's absolutely ridiculous.
I give you an example. My two daughters, they're in their 20s, right? And they didn't grow up like how we did, where it was in your face. I've been called the N-word. I've been spat at. I've had dogs that were sicked on me, that were trained to attack people of color. And so my daughters didn't grow up in that environment. They grew up going through the county school system that was predominantly, white, and, raising them like we as black parents have had to raise our kids, how to be safe, how to live in America. And I would have these conversations with my daughter, and they're like, "Daddy, you sound racist." And I'm like, "What?" Because I've had to teach them things. They're like, "Daddy, I don't have to do that. I don't have to make sure I got a receipt. I don't have to make sure that I'm always on my P's and Q's and stuff. I'm fine." They have really accept themselves of, hey, I'm just like anybody else.
Right.
Unfortunately, as they got older, they've become victims of that.
Right.
But it wasn't that long ago that they were criticizing me, saying, "Daddy, you're wrong. America is not like that." And I'm like, wow. Yeah.
Because y'all made it comfortable for them. Y'all made it so that, and maybe their friends just treated them just like, like you should be treated, actually.
Right.
No one should be, hating anyone or disliking anyone because of the color of their skin.
Right, very true.
That is absolutely ridiculous as well. But it happens. Unfortunately, it happens.
With one of my daughters, reality slapped her when a boy called her a black monkey, followed by some other things I'm not going to say here, and she was just thrown back because her environment that she had been in for years. Oh, I'm accepted, I'm the same as everybody, and then those same people said those, and that was painful for an adult.
Right.
To have my child coming home crying. They learned later in life. But you're right. I like what you said. It was like, hey, that's great that they thought they lived in an environment where that was not an issue or whatever. But when it finally hit them late in their teens, it was like a wham, bam, knock you down. Like, what?
Yeah. And we don't want that for our kids. For reality to hit them like that. Right. When they just want to live their lives. Right. Most, especially kids, I've seen kids play, little kids play, black, white. Yeah. They don't care. They have absolutely no worries in the world. All they know is that you're a kid, I'm a kid.
Yeah, play with me.
Let's play.
You like trucks, I like trucks. You like dogs, yes, I like dogs.
Let's play.
Yeah, let's play.
But then we, as parents, and inject that hatred and all this toxic information into these kids, and then some of them grow up just not liking people who don't look like them.
I remember a field trip. I think my daughter was like in 4th grade or something like that, and I volunteered to chaperone to Lewis Ginter Park. And there was this father that chaperoned, and he only chaperoned his kid, and he kept his kids separate of everybody. He wouldn't even sit at the picnic table with us. And you could see he was just eagerly wanted to play with the other kids and stuff. And you can tell he had all the telltale signs of like, I don't want to mess or mingle with you people. Right. It was just so evident. And it was sad to me because this little kid, like you said, they just want to play. Yeah. And this father, he just kept pulling them back and holding them back. We're here and he's 15 feet, 20 feet back, not everywhere we get. And I'm like, I often think about that little boy and like, where is he now? Right. What is he like now?
Those kids can either grow up just like their parent or parents, or they can grow up hating their parents. Right. Because that happens as well. I've seen that happen as well.
Right. My mom and I, we had a discussion years back, and I can't quote her as beautifully as she put it, but my mother, she grew up in a world where America was still segregated. Okay. And a lot of people forget that. We have people that's walking our earth. There are older parents, there are grandparents that are still alive that they went in through the back. They had to sit in the back of the bus. They couldn't drink out of it. And people forget that because we've enjoyed this freedom per se for a very long time. And my mom told me that, she said, black people today throw the word racism out there different, than what they knew racism is. Racism was physical violence and hate towards you. Okay. Whereas today it's masked. Right. It's just
in some cases.
In some cases, yeah. But my mom was telling me it's like you knew your place every day when you walked out your door. Right. People called you out your name to your face. They treated you whatever way out. And I guess my mom, and again I can't say it as beautifully as she explained it. Right. She was like, we only get a small taste of what they experienced and stuff. Right. And she also taught me it was like, we call things racism, but sometimes it's just people that just don't like us.
Exactly.
They just don't like us.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and it can be black, white, so like sometimes people just don't like you, and it has nothing to do
with your
the color of your skin.
Right. Well, I'm gonna throw one at you. This is a real life scenario of a coworker, not at our current place of employment.
Okay.
Right. This was many years ago, and I worked with this guy, and he was pretty quiet. We didn't interact a lot. We worked together and stuff, but just one day we were sitting at the table separate, and he looked at me and he said, "Look, I gotta tell you something. This is a true story. People don't believe when I tell them this. This guy told me, he said, I don't like black people."
Okay.
This is a white guy.
Yeah.
He said, "I don't want to live by you. I really don't want to work with you. I don't want to hang out with black people." He was just talking about black in general. Right. He said, "But I will come to work and I'll do my job." And for years I couldn't figure out, like, why out of the blue he was just telling me that. Right. But as I matured, I was like, the few people I've shared the story with, it was like, "Did you cuss them out? Did you report them?" And I'm like,
"Yeah, for what?"
I'm like, for me, I understood where my place was with him. Right. I was not gonna go drink bourbon with him. I was not gonna go have lunch with him. Right. I was not gonna trust him. I appreciate him telling me, "Hey, I don't like black people."
One thing about it, I want to know.
I want to know. Yeah. So one of my friends, she's from New York. She's from Rochester, New York. She lived in Richmond for a very long time, and one day she just decided to move back to Rochester. Okay. And I missed her. We were good friends. And so about a year after she left Richmond, she got settled. I called her and we were catching up and everything. I said, "You miss Richmond?" She was like, "No." I said, and she shared with me, she said, "You know what I didn't like about Richmond?" I said, "What?" She said, "In Richmond, the same people that would invite you out and have drinks after work and invite you to baby showers, people that you really thought liked you, behind your back, they were just calling your name, calling you, the N-word and stuff like that." She's like, "But in New York, you know where you stand with people." That was her experience. She was like, people don't hang with people you really don't want to hang with them. Right. She's like, so I know the people that ask me out, they want to be with me, they appreciate my company, they respect my, her culture or whatever. But that was her experience here in Richmond. It was like, people are phony. Yeah,
I think we need to be careful as well as grouping. That was a group of people, because I've heard this too many times when people experience something. Like my New York friends that come down and family, they come down and think that everybody who lives in Richmond or Virginia are the same. Like, I thought sometimes it's just that group of people.
Right, a very small group, yeah.
Just a small group, or maybe 2 or 3 people, right? And then we cast a net and say, a net and say,
that's a good point.
This particular, area is like this particular area like that, based on something that you experienced with one group of people.
But now wide paintbrush.
Yes, I think, in my opinion.
So what do we do to get, I guess, through it or contribute to ending racism? What can we do?
We were never in racism.
That's what I was thinking too. I was looking for some words of wisdom and guidance.
No, it's not happening because I'm a realist.
Right. Yeah.
But what I continue to do is, so let's talk about your family. On both sides of my family is super diverse.
Yeah.
It would be absolutely ridiculous for me to hate anyone because of their skin.
Same here, because my mom's side of the family is heavily interracial. It's German, French.
As much as I love a lot of my cousins that wake up, I don't like. It's like it wouldn't even make sense.
Yeah, it wouldn't. Yeah. I took my wife to Jersey, and I warned her because my family here in Richmond is predominantly, Whitlock family is predominantly black, right? A couple light skinned like me, but predominantly black. And the first time I took her to New Jersey to meet my mom's side of the family, I was like, hey, just give you a warning, you're gonna see Puerto Ricans, Koreans, French.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think you had to give her a warning?
Because I thought she would have been initially shocked and like it would have showed on her face. So I just wanted to like prepare her for what she was going to see. Okay. Because her environment is like, hey, everybody in our family is predominantly white. There was predominantly black. There was nobody in her family that was, white. There was no, but go to New Jersey and go to a cookout family reunion. It was diverse, and so I remember her looking at me. She was like, I just thought you was playing, or maybe just one or two, and it was like it was a good mix, But
But one of the ways I combat, or I guess I call myself combating racism, is bringing people together through music.
Yeah.
Because in my lifetime, I don't think I've ever seen anything that brings people together more than music. To even think about, for me, that someone would dislike you, not even know your name, not even know your character,
don't know anything about you,
don't know absolutely nothing about you, and would hate you because of your skin. And it's something you will never be able to convince.
No.
That
it's got that mind made up.
It's already it's embedded, it's instilled, and some you would never.
You mentioned something that's it's a big deal to me. It's like, and I preach to the younger people, young and old. It's like we live in a global world now, and if you isolate yourself to just what you're comfortable with, your neighborhood or whatever, I mean, who would have thought 50 years ago when we were growing up as kids that we had opportunities to go to Dubai and China and Taiwan, the Dominican Republic? It's nothing for our friends to talk about, your co-worker, I'm going to Dominican, for 2 weeks and this and that. We have to learn to get along and understand each other's cultures and have those conversations. I have Korean friends, friends from the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and I enjoy absorbing their cultures, and I love tres leche cake. I would have never found out about that experience had I not been open to communicating and learning and stuff.
Unfortunately, Chuck, many will and many won't. Like I said earlier, racism will always exist, unfortunately.
Just another last quick story to kind of tie in what I want to say is that I lived in Germany for 5 years, and I had to go to a specialty school in a portion of Germany where it was like 100% white Germans, right? The specialty school that I went to was predominantly white, and so I went to the school, and when I was not in school, I would go into town and drive around, and this little German boy who couldn't have been no more than about 4, maybe 5, he came up to me and he was like, Schwartz, and he called me he was like, he had never seen a black person before. When I share that story with people say, oh man, I would have got mad and fussed at the parents because he was touching my skin and like want to touch my hair and stuff. And people say, oh, I would have done this and done that. And what I'm saying is, I had that opportunity to make a first impression. Imagine if I was to say,
Right there.
So I share that story to make the point that I think something that can help is that there are some situations where we have to serve as an ambassadors, right? As because, and again, I can't tell you how many times I've shared that story with people, and all of them have said, I would have done this and do that, and I'm like, the little boy had never seen a person my complexion and hair back when I had hair.
Listen, I'm mounted. And some of the things some of the stories that I share with people, and they've said, well, I would have, I'm like, what? Sometimes I stop sharing stories because people get all I know that. I was like, wait a minute. I'm sharing this story because there are different ways to approach things. There are different ways to how to respond to things. You don't have to go from 0 to 100 every time every time you feel like someone is being disrespectful to you, and sometimes they're not really being disrespectful. They just don't know. So
I just want to say that. Just my last words under the topic is like, sometimes just back up and realize that we're ambassadors for our culture and stuff, and having dialogue with one another. So.
Yeah, I think dialogue is very important. Yeah. But I saw this clip, and I thought it was interesting because Amanda Seals was conversing with Shannon Sharp of Club Shay Shay. And she was talking about how when she was younger that this particular teacher took issue with her or didn't like her, and she was actually saying she didn't like her because she was black. That's what I was getting out of the conversation. Shannon Sharp had some pushback and she did not like it, and this is what she said. Fair use.
My thing is, you're right. She possibly misspoke or she didn't know.
I guess my question to you is, why do you even feel compelled at this juncture in this interview? Why would you even feel compelled to try to...
Because I'm not defending. But my thing is that what I'm trying to say, most adults, when kids correct them or speak, feel some type of way. This is not unique to a black, white, or white, black.
I'm still here with my man Chuck.
Hey.
What up, Chuck?
What's up, JC?
All right. So, Chuck, how important is peace in your life?
Peace is extremely important to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's even more important to me now that I am a man of a certain age. Mm-hmm. I'm 52. Mm-hmm. I'll be 53 in November.
Okay.
And the older I get, I need peace.
The more peace you want.
Peace is essential to me for my physical health, my mental health, my stability, financially, just everything. I gotta have peace.
Right.
And where I'm at today, I have lost a lot of friends because peace is my priority.
Right.
So it's very
I can
important.
relate to that.
And I'm at a great place in my life because it's taken me a very long time to find my peace and understand what impacts that. And like I said, I've had to cut a lot of people out of my life because they weren't bringing peace. They were contributing to,
toxicity,
yes,
drama.
Yeah. And it hurts. I mean, there was a couple of guys that we were cool. We were cool, great guys and stuff. But they were bringing so much negativity and drama and issues and stuff. And I was dragging myself in it because I'm trying to be like a good friend and be there for them, be supportive. But I found out it was affecting me.
Right.
And I'm having conversations with you. I'm like, hey man, we can't have that, or you need, I had a buddy of mine that was, he was doing some questionable things, Right. And I'll go to him and say, yo man, you can't be carrying that gun, you can't be doing this, and you can't be smoking and stuff. And man, I don't care, I'm gonna do that. I'm like, I gotta cut you off.
Yeah.
Because you're making me nervous.
Yeah.
You're gonna disrupt my peace. I also want to address another angle to peace, right? Because we've talked a lot about peace and we connected it with relationships that we've had, whether it's family, friends, lovers, right? It's also about, peace is also about certain decisions that you make, and I can't explain it other than sharing a quick story. Okay. I was driving with my cousin one day. We're heading down Midlothian Turnpike, and there was some crazy driver that was like riding on my bumper, honking our horn, and then finally, they ran around me to the left, and then got in front of me and brake checked and did all this other crap. And my cousin's response was like, yo, you need to go check that blank. And I was like, what? He was like, yo, you got a gun, you a cop, man, you ought to give him a piece in your mind, and so you gonna let him do you like that? And I'm like, dude, I'm just backing off.
Yeah.
You want to drive aggressive like that, just let it go. But he was so keen on, yo, you need to do something, let him know. And I'm like, okay, let's really talk this out, right?
Right.
He's not at peace, right, with himself. He's agitated or whatever and wants to take it out on me.
Right.
The best thing I can do is, if you want to speed, just go on ahead. But my cousin's perspective, you need to do something, you need to show forth.
Yeah.
I pressed the brakes, I pulled over, and I'm meeting a lot of people when I tell them that story. Yo, you just gonna let people do that for you? I did that for me.
Yeah.
That's my peace. Why put myself in a situation where I'm gonna get up all in somebody's way, what you doing, and blah, blah, blah. The best thing I could do, hey, I brake, and I let them go. I pulled over the side. I let them get over down the road. I kept my peace that day.
You did it right there, man. A lot of people don't understand peace.
Yeah.
They don't really understand peace. I told you about the story when when I was on the basketball court, the guy hit me in my face.
I don't remember that.
Oh, I thought I told you.
Maybe you did, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We talk so much about everything.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that for another time. I'm doing it. It's a little after 7 right now. So,
yeah, man. I've really enjoyed this, man.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate
coming
you,
through,
brother.
man. Always.
And I want to say this, if I can get about 35 more seconds,
35 more seconds.
35 more seconds.
I heard 35 and I thought you said minutes.
Maybe I did. 35 seconds.
No, you said seconds.
Okay.
You said seconds. Go ahead.
JC.
Yes, sir.
I really enjoyed the friendship and the relationship we got. It's really great that men can get together and have these discussions. And that's why I consider you. I don't have a lot of people use the word friends like too loosely, but I consider you to be a good friend, man, because we have great dialogue, and we may not always agree and stuff, but I like that we talk it out. We share experiences and stuff, man, and I just want to say, man,
we agree most of the time, though.
Most of the time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Except on, a couple things. I'm not gonna bring it up.
We're not gonna even go there.
Guys, men who take care of themselves make better impressions on everybody.
Now it's time for our Did You Know segment. Did you know that you're not a real man until you are able to help take care of a child that your wife had with another man? Check it out. You know what? First, let me do it like this. Faster than a viral moment. More powerful than the click of a mouse. Able to leap 5 boss chicks in a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's... Oh, man. Super Sim!
A real man is. He is sticking by me whether I cheated or not, which I did, but it's okay. We are still making it work. We are going to be one big happy family. As you know, we have other children together. Mm-hmm. So everyone's going to be brother and sister. Absolutely. Nobody's going to be treated differently.
Mm-hmm. No separation on my end. Because let me tell you something. As a man, I was brought up to stick by your woman no matter what.
What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, huh?
Did you know?
Anytime, if a guy just wants to ask you for coffee, I'll tell you why he does. It's either because he goes on a lot of first dates and he's super picky and he doesn't want to spend the money because he knows he's picky and he almost never likes anybody, or he usually rarely gets second dates, and or he's cheap.
On the contrary, if you can't do or won't do or accept a coffee date, then that tells me all I need to know or want to know about you. Did you know?
Everybody think the man is supposed to sacrifice his life for everybody else, and he don't get no reward,
no respect,
no enjoyment for it, and there's no return on it. The man's happiness don't mean nothing to nobody. The man's peace don't mean nothing to nobody.
Let's see what the ladies have to say. This is Q&A.
If a woman really understands and knows who she is, she can walk in a room and take control of every man in the room.
I said, I'm the type of lady that I would love to keep the house, the inside of the house clean. Mm-hmm. I love to cook. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make sure all the laundry is done. Mm-hmm. That's just me.
Right.
That doesn't make me less than a woman.
Of course not.
Or some women look at that like you're being a servant. No, I was raised that way.
Okay.
Also, I'm not an outdoorsy girl. So if my man got the grass all of that outside.
Taking out the garbage.
Oh my goodness, taking out the garbage. I'm too cute for all that. But I got you on your dinner. You will always have clean clothes to wear and a clean house. I love that.
Right. Well, what do you think is the issue with some of these young women? Young and old women in general, I should say.
Some women, I think they're looking at it wrong. You know, they're not looking at it like as a queen, taking care of their king. I think they looking at it like it's being a servant or
they most definitely some most definitely are.
But I was raised. I've heard older ladies say, if the man bringing home paying the bills and bringing home money, they're gonna cook. They're gonna make sure they got a hot meal. Amongst other things that he likes.
What if they sharing the expenses?
Well, that's up to the couple.
But
you saying 50-50?
Yeah, let's just say 50-50. What do you think about that concept?
Well, 50-50 to me, this is how I always answer that. It's better than paying 100 by yourself as a female.
Exactly, but some would rather pay 100 opposed to going 50-50 with them.
If you have a man that's paying 100% in a position to pay 100%, then I would think that you would be, would want to be wifey, keep the house clean and cook. And if you don't know how to cook, you can learn how to cook.
That's fine, but I'm talking about if you're going 50-50. If you go 50-50 in a household, does that mean that you shouldn't do those things that you mentioned earlier?
No, I don't think so. I'm still not going to take the trash out. I'm still not going to cut the grass.
Exactly.
I'm still not going to power wash the deck.
And so if you're not going to do it,
definitely not going to keep the cars.
If you're not going to, exactly. So if you're not going to do it, who's going to do it? Who's going to do it?
My man is going to do it.
Exactly. What you say, Whitney? What you say?
And
say it, Whitney. You here for your man? For your man, you'd what? Say it.
Every man should be taken care of, fed. I can't say the rest of it.
Fed. Come on, fed. You can keep it clean. Come on, fed.
Everything done.
Okay.
Clean house, laundry. Clean house, laundry, dinner made. All he's got to do is take a shower, get in the bed.
This is Natalie Ford, and you're listening to Manhood Forever TV.
Thank you for watching. We are committed to growing, and you can help by subscribing, clicking the like button, commenting, and sharing our show. We will continue to feed YouTube's algorithm with the Manhood Forever TV content, and you know what's going to happen then.
Jesus Christ.
He's a hell of a man, that's why he's in demand. If you're looking for help, he'll be your Superman. If your faucet is leaking, he'll be your handyman. He's doing all that he can to be a better man. 'Cause he's a man, yes he's a man first. He's a grown man. No. Your masculinity is not your enemy.